Are you planning on taking that real estate exam that's going to be administered by Pearson Vue? Check this out. In this video, I personally, Robert Rico, head instructor here at US Realty Training, I'm going to share with you 25 questions that are very similar to Pearson Vue questions. It's going to guide you through these questions with the answers, make it nice and simple for you. Let's get started. First question, which of the following would lead to an easement by estoppel? Easement by estoppel. Key words here. Easement by estoppel. A, when an easement right is transferred along with title to the land that benefits from the easement. B, when a person's words or actions led another to believe in the existence of the easement. C, when no other access to property exists. Or D, 5 years of continuous, open, notorious, and hostile use of the property of another under a claim of right. So for this question, we have to understand what the heck is an easement by estoppel. The answer is, yeah, you guessed it, B. B as in boy. An easement by estoppel is an easement created when a person's words or actions led another to believe in the existence of the easement. If in relying on those words or actions, the easement user acts to his or her detriment, the party will be estoppel from denying the existence of the easement. There you have it. So you have to know what an easement by estoppel is. And that's somebody saying, yeah, go ahead, verbally. And all of a sudden they want to say, you know what, stop. You can't use that easement anymore. That's an easement by estoppel. Let's go to the next one. Felix bought a property on the shores of a lake. I want you to picture this. Felix bought a property on the shores of a lake. Over time, the lake receded, causing a change in the boundaries of Felix's property. This is known as which of the following? I want you to picture this. So we have a lake. The lake is receding. What does that mean? It's getting smaller. The lake is getting smaller. This is known as which of the following? A, reliction. B, avulsion. C, accretion. Or D, none of the above. Pause. Take a second. The answer is A, reliction. Let's go to the explanation. Reliction refers to an increase in the land area due to gradual receding of a body of water such as a lake. Got it? Just got to know the definition of reliction. When you have a body of water such as a lake, the lake becomes smaller, giving, of course, the homeowners who are on the shore more property. Makes sense. Let's go to the next one. Imaginary north-south lines which intersect with baselines to form a starting point for the measurement of land are known as which of the following? A, acreage. B, hectares. C, furlongs. Or D, meridians. I'll give you a chance to think about this one. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. The answer is D, meridians. The imaginary north-south lines which intersect with baselines to form a starting point for the measurement of land is meridian lines. Let's go to the next one. You're doing great. Here's the question. A fee simple title has all of the following characteristics. Except. This is crucial, the word except. Except means which one of these is wrong. Let's go back to the question. A fee simple title has all of the following characteristics, except which one does not belong here? Here we go. A, it is a real encumbrance. B, it is transferable by inheritance or a will. C, it is an indefinite time period. Or D, transferable with or without consideration. The answer is, yeah, A. It is a real encumbrance. That's false. Now, I want you to pay attention to this question because this is actually a very good question. I actually like this question. I want you to understand that when it comes to a fee simple title, that's the absolute best way to have title on the property. You can do whatever you want with the property. Now, if you look at the answers there, you could transfer it by inheritance or will. Sure, you're the only owner. You can have it for an indefinite time period. Sure, you can have it for your lifetime and then will it off to somebody and they can have it for their lifetime. There is no time duration when you own this property because it's a fee simple estate. You have it under fee simple title. Deed, it's transferable with or without consideration. Consideration means money in real estate. So you could give it to somebody and say, you don't owe me anything. You could will it off, give it away, whatever you want to do with the property. A, it is not a real encumbrance. If you own the house outright, you don't owe anybody anything. That's why A is their correct answer. A does not belong there. Got it? Let's go to the explanation. An encumbrance is something that affects the title of the property, such as restrictions, encroachments, easements, trust deeds, judgments, etc. All right? Boom, there you have it. Let's go to the next question. Anna wants to deed her home to her niece Diana, with the understanding that Diana can live in the property for the remainder of her life, and that when she dies, the property will revert to Anna's children. Diana has which of the following? There's another great question. So Diana can live in this property for the rest of her life, for her lifetime. After that, it goes back to somebody else. What do you think this is going to be considered? Let's go with the options you have there. A, quitclaim deed, a life estate deed, a temporary tenancy deed, or a cloud on title. The question is, Diana has which of the following? The answer is, B, life estate deed. Let's go to the explanation. A life estate deed is the temporary transfer of an ownership for the lifetime of the transferee. Classic example here. This question is a classic example of a lifetime estate. Diana gets to live in it for her lifetime, but after that, it goes to somebody else. Could even revert back to the original owner, in this case it being Anna. But that's not the question. The question is, what type of estate does Diana have? She has what's called a life estate deed. Let's keep going. Hey, listen, I want to take a break right now, but I don't want you to go anywhere. What I want to do is this. I want to share with you some great news. And the great news is this. Our goal is to get you to pass that state exam the very first time. Get your license and take off running. But this is the deal. We have two great resources that I want you to take a look at, and it's in the link below. The first one is the State Exam Prep Package. Now, what the hell is that? The State Exam Prep Package has flashcards, has unlimited practice state exam questions. Are you kidding me? You can go over them over and over and over again at your own pace. That's perfect. What else do you want? And flashcards? If there's a vocabulary word that you don't understand, go to the flashcards. It'll explain everything. The other thing that we have that I want you to remember, and check out the link below, is our brand new crash course videos. Crash course videos of me, me, right in front of you for 8 hours. It's an 8-hour package of videos of me explaining to you test-taking strategies, vocabulary words. We're talking from principles to practice to finance, you name it, I'm going to explain it to you. How? Crystal clear, that's how. I'm going to make sure that you are not confused with anything in the real estate world. Again, both of those packages are in the link below. Click on it, check it out. And one last thing, I want you to understand that we have a beautiful mobile app, which means you can use those two products, man. Those two products. I'm talking the state exam prep and the crash course videos on your phone. Man, what else do you want? It's beautiful. Again, our goal is the same as yours, to get you to pass the very first time. Come on, lighten up. Let's do this together. Let's move on to the next question. Mrs. Willis contracted top-notch roofing to place a new tile roof on her single-family home. I want you to picture this. All right? If for some reason Mrs. Willis refused to pay the bill for the work done, Top-Notch Roofing could file a lien for the payment due. What is the name of the encumbrance that would be created? Good question. A, voluntary lien. B, judgment lien. C, specific lien. Or D, general lien. What do you think the answer is? Top-Notch Roofing did a horrible job. Maybe they did a great job, who knows? She didn't pay the bill. What kind of lien can Top-Notch Roofing put on this property? Ready? The answer is C, a specific lien. So a lot of you are probably thinking, well, it's also a mechanics lien, and you're absolutely right. It's also a mechanics lien, but that's not one of the options. This is a nice, tricky question. It is also a specific lien, which means what? They're going to put a lien specifically on this property. Specifically on this property. If Mrs. Willis owned 10 other properties, they can't go after the other 10 other properties. They can only go specifically. That's the key word, specifically on this property. Let's go straight to the explanation. This is known as a mechanics lien. What did I tell you? Which are always specific liens because they apply to only the subject property of the claim and not to other property that the owner may have. There you have it. Specific lien goes to a specific property. A general lien can go on any of the property, on any assets that the owner may have. Got it? All right, here we go. Let's go to the next one. When determining how much a commercial property has suffered from economic obsolescence, what should be taken into consideration? We got to know what economic obsolescence is. A, should the complex elevator be upgraded? Is the building running efficiently? Are the rents that are being charged at market value? Or are the neighborhood and tenants thriving and prospering? This is another great question because the question's asking you, do you know what economic obsolescence is? If you know what economic obsolescence is, which of these four is considered economic obsolescence? The answer is D. Are the neighborhood and tenants thriving and prospering? So what is economic obsolescence? Economic obsolescence is a house, the value of a house, of a home, starts to decline because of outside factors that have nothing to do with the house. The house could be the best house on the block. Economic factors outside. What's going on outside of the house? Meaning the neighborhoods, the crime, the political status of the city, right? The leadership of the city, all that stuff outside of the house. Let's go to the explanation. In looking at social obsolescence, otherwise known as economic obsolescence, a deciding factor that presents a heavy impact on a commercial property is the overall prosperity of the surrounding properties, and the tenants in the same neighborhood. Are they thriving and flourishing, or is the area becoming downtrodden and depressed? Economic obsolescence, social obsolescence, any factors outside of the property, whether it be a commercial property or a residence. Got it? Fantastic. Let's keep moving on. A building's value declines if the surrounding buildings have a lower value. This is known as the principle of A, regression, B, supply and demand, C, conformity, or D, elements of value. The answer here is A, regression. The principle of regression says that the worth of a greater valued property is reduced by the proximity of lower value properties. Nice question. Regression. You got this big, beautiful house in a city that isn't so thriving, and all the other homeowners in that area aren't taking care of their properties. Well, it affects this nice, beautiful, large property. It brings it down with them. And that's called regression. Which of the following is not an approach to estimating the value of real estate? Let me repeat that. Which of the following is not, N-O-T is not, an approach to estimating the value of real estate? So we're looking for the wrong answer here. We're looking for meaning the one that doesn't belong here when it comes to valuing real estate. A, cost approach. B, broker's price opinion. C, market comparison. Or D, income approach. Which one of these is not an approach to estimating the value of real estate? The answer is, B as in boy, broker's price opinion. Let's go to the explanation. The three approaches to estimating value in real estate are cost approach, the market comparison approach, and the income approach. The broker's price opinion is not an approach. It's just an opinion of a broker saying, I believe that house is worth this. Simple as that. Let's move on to the next question. All right, next question. This allows an agent to fairly represent the principal's interest of the following, listen to this, of the following, which allows an agent to fairly represent the principal's interest. A, empathy. B, good faith and honesty. C, meeting with a third party. Or D, tax education. This is a good question here. Now we're talking about the principal, the agent's principal. The answer is, yeah, you guessed it, B, good faith and honesty. Let's go straight to the explanation here. The agent's fulfillment of the duties of good faith and honesty will allow the agent to fairly represent the principal's interests. Good faith and honesty. That's the top of the line. That's exactly what we want to give our principal. Not the third party, but our principal. Let's go to the next one. Mark's business is failing and facing bankruptcy. He decides to sell his house. The broker that he employs tells a prospective buyer that Mark is facing bankruptcy and may be especially eager to sell, possibly for less than the market value. Which is true regarding the broker's actions? Now think about this. You have a broker, you have the principal. The broker is set to protect the principal. Ready? Here's the question. Which is true regarding the broker's actions? A, ethical, since they are meant to encourage a sale. B, unacceptable, unless he has been given the authority by the seller to disclose that information. C, acceptable, as long as he does not give specific financial information. Or D, acceptable if they result in an offer on the property. This is a great question. This is a great question. I love this question. What is the answer to this one? All right, here we go. B as in boy, unacceptable unless he has been given the authority by the seller to disclose that information. Listen, bottom line is this. When an agent represents a principal, they're bonded, man. They're contractually bonded. And the job of the agent is to protect the principal at all times, which means not share the principal's finances or position in regard to his finances with anybody. By doing so, somebody might come in with a lower offer than they probably would have given. Oh, he's in dire straits. I'll give him a lower offer. He'll take it. He needs the money quickly. The agent shouldn't do that. It's unacceptable unless he has been given the authority by the seller to disclose that information. Let's go to the explanation on this one. Part of an agent's fiduciary duties is confidentiality. That's the key word. Agents have a duty to maintain the confidentiality of a client's financial and personal information unless they are authorized by their client to do so otherwise. Listen, another example I want to give you. Let's assume there's a couple, a husband and wife, who are getting a divorce and they're selling their property and they hate each other's guts and they want to sell the property quickly, right? The last thing their agent should do is tell all potential buyers, hey, my clients are getting divorced, they want to sell this ASAP, they'll take a lower offer, come on over and check it out and give me a nice low offer. Can't do that. There's no need to disclose any personal information that's going to affect the pocketbook of the principal. Got it? Good. Let's keep on moving. We're doing great. Let's get to the next question. Which of the following is not a way to terminate an agency? Again, keyword in this question is not. That word not is going to trick you. Don't let it trick you. Not. Which of the following is not a way to terminate agency? A, fulfillment of the agency agreement. B, destruction of the property. C, expiration of the term of the agreement. Or D, none of these. Ooh, good question. Think about it. Which of the following is not a way to terminate an agency? The answer is, yeah, D. D as in dog. None of these are a way to terminate agency. These all can terminate agency. Fulfillment of the agreement, hey, job is done, I wash my hands, I'm out. It's over. You terminate agency. I don't need you anymore. B, destruction of the property. If the property you were hired to sell no longer exists because it was destroyed in a fire or in an earthquake or whatever, don't need you anymore. We got to terminate agency. And C, expiration of the term of the agreement. Hey, I hire you for 3 months, 6 months, whatever it is, to sell this property, and if you don't, you're out of here. Yeah, well, termination of agency. You didn't sell it on time. Tick tock, I gave you the time, but you couldn't do it. Termination of agency. So none of these is not a way to terminate an agency. They're all valid. Let's go to the explanation here. All listed items allow the termination of an agency, just like I explained. Let's go to the next one. Who is responsible for all the acts of the associate licensee with regard to duties owed to the principal, third party, and other brokers? Let me repeat that. Who is responsible for all the acts of the associate licensee, which in this case is the realtor, the real estate agent, with regard to duties owed to the principal, third party, and other brokers? Oh, this is a good question. I want you to understand the question. The way to answer the question correctly with 100% confidence is understanding the question. So this question is asking, who is responsible for the real estate agent when he's out there working? In a nutshell, that's what it's asking. A, the associate licensee. B, the designated broker. C, the principal. Or D, the third party. Of these four, which one is responsible for the agent's actions? Now, understanding the question makes this a lot easier, doesn't it? The answer is, yeah, you guessed it, B. B as in boy, the designated broker. Don't forget, when you get your license, when a sales associate or an associate licensee or a real estate agent, there's so many synonyms for the word licensee, for the term real estate agent. When they get their license, they're working under the broker, under the umbrella of the broker. Remember that. So the one that's responsible for the actions of the real estate agent or the associate licensee or the sales associate is the designated broker. Let's go straight to the explanation. In most cases, all of the listings in a real estate company belong to the broker and not the associate licensee. This is why the broker is responsible. Got it? Good. Let's keep on moving. Next question, what are the steps in order? I want you to put them in order. What are the steps in order in the agency disclosure process? A, disclose, confirm, elect. B, disclose, elect, confirm. C, confirm, disclose, elect. Or D, elect, confirm, disclose. Whoa. So what they're testing you here on, what they're asking is, just put them in order. Put them in order. The answer is B. B as in boy. Disclose, elect, confirm. And this is easily remembered through the acronym DEC, December, right? The acronym DEC as in December, which means disclose, elect, confirm. Nice and simple. Let's move to the next one. Next question. Lily is a painter and her landlord just agreed to put aside $2,500 to set up a small studio with the window for her to be able to work properly in the sunlight. This is considered a tenant improvement allowance, B, gifts, C, subleases, or D, a grant deed. The answer is A, a tenant improvement allowance. Let's get straight to the explanation. A tenant improvement allowance is for alterations to the interior of the building to meet the functional demands of the tenant. Let's keep on moving. Next question. Tabby is opening a craft store and signs a gross lease for the building. This means that, this question is asking you, what is a gross lease? This means that A, the rental amount is only for rent. Tabby will still be responsible for other expenses such as maintenance and insurance. B, the rental amount includes all property expenses. C, the rental amount will equal portion of the sales generated by the business. Or D, none of the above. The correct answer is B, as in boy. The rental amount includes all property expenses. That's what a gross lease is. The rental amount will include all property expenses. Let's go straight to the explanation. The gross lease states that the rental amount includes all property expenses. Nice and simple. Let's go to the next one. Under this type of lease, the tenant pays a fixed rent and the owner pays all the other expenses for the property. All right? Think about it. Under this type of lease, the tenant pays a fixed rent and the owner pays all other expenses for the property. A net lease. B, step-up lease. C, gross lease. Or D, a percentage lease. And the answer is C, a gross lease. Explanation? We actually just had a question very similar to it. A gross lease is a common residential lease under which the tenant pays a fixed rent and the landlord pays all operating expenses for the property. Gross lease, gross lease. Now we got that instilled in your head. You won't get the gross lease questions wrong anymore, will you? Fantastic, let's keep going. Next question, which of the following must be disclosed to a buyer by a listing agent? As a reminder, the listing agent represents who? Yeah, a seller. All right, let's read that again. Which of the following must be disclosed to a buyer by a listing agent? A, the fact that the roof is damaged and often leaks. B, the presence of a landfill nearby. C, the fact that the neighborhood is noisy and has an unusual amount of traffic. Or D, all of the above. The answer is, yeah, D, all of the above. All of these should be disclosed to a buyer. Explanation. An agent has the responsibility to disclose all material facts about a property. Material facts are facts that might impact a buyer's decision to purchase a property or the amount that they are willing to pay. Which each of the following examples would be considered a material fact. I mean, take a look at those. The fact that the roof is damaged. Wouldn't you think a buyer would want to know that before making an offer? The presence of a landfill nearby. Don't you think a buyer would want to know this before making an offer? The fact that the neighborhood is noisy and has unusual traffic in the area. Don't you think the buyer would want to know this before making the offer? And if they knew, would it affect their offer? Of course it would. So these are all material facts. The answer here is all of the above. Let's go to the next question. Next question. Hang in there. We're almost done. Hope you're enjoying these, by the way. Is a seller required to disclose information about litigation on a property? Oh, that's a good question. Seller wants to sell his property. Is a seller required to disclose information about litigation on the property? A, yes, but only prior litigations. B, yes, both prior and pending legal action involving the property. C, yes, but only pending litigations. Or D, no. They may disclose the current litigation once it has been closed. The answer is B as in boy. Yes, both prior and pending legal action involving the property is required. Let's go straight to the explanation. Both prior and pending legal actions involving a property are considered material facts that must be disclosed. All right, good. Let's keep on going. We're going at a good pace here. Franklin is selling a property in a low-lying area that is prone to flooding and heavy rainfall. He plans to sell the property himself rather than hire a broker. How should he handle the issue? A, because he is selling the property himself without the help of a broker, he is not required to disclose the property's history of flooding. B, he is required to disclose natural hazards only if the buyer asks. C, it is the buyer's responsibility to research any natural hazards through the use of public records. Or D, he must disclose the property's history of flooding. The answer to this question is D as in dog, D. Explanation, natural hazards such as flooding that are known to the seller are required to be disclosed whether the property is sold by the owner or by a broker. Nice and simple. When loan applications within a certain geographic area are denied because the area is perceived as undesirable, this is, I'm hoping to God you guys know this answer. This is spoken often in the finance course. Let me read that again so you don't get this one wrong. I believe in you. when loan applications within a certain geographic area are denied because the area is perceived as undesirable. This is A, redlining, B, blockbusting, C, steering, D, commingling. Great question. Guaranteed you're going to see this in your state exam, by the way. The answer is A, redlining. That's right, redlining. Let's go straight to the explanation. Redlining is the delineation by a lending institution of those areas of a community occupied by less than desirable borrowers and is not allowed under the Community Reinvestment Act. Straightforward, redlining. You got to know this one, redlining. There you have it. Let's go to the next question. Of the following statements, which is false about real estate financing? Of the following statements, which is false about real estate financing? False. False. A, discounting a note means selling it for less than face value. B, a promissory note is security for a mortgage. C, a mortgage is considered a lien. Or D, the owner of a property who signs for a mortgage to borrow money is known as a mortgagor. Now let's discuss this for a split second. I want you to understand this crystal clear. A promissory note is not a security for a mortgage. On the contrary, I want you to flip side that. It's actually a mortgage. A mortgage is a security for a promissory note. The promissory note is a piece of paper, a document where the borrower is saying, hey, I promise to pay you back. I promise to pay you back. So much so that I'm going to get a mortgage. I'm going to get a mortgage stating that I'm going to pay you this amount of money every month until I pay off all the numbers that are on the promissory note. That in itself gives it validity. So it says that the mortgage that I just created to cover this promissory note will be the security for the promissory note. So the false one here is B. The promissory note is security for a mortgage? The mortgage is the security for the promissory note, for the promise. Hope that makes sense to you. Let's go to the next one. What is the acreage in the parcel of land described as east 1/2 of the south 1/4 of the southwest 1/4 of section 5? Ooh, we got a math question here. We got a calculations question here. You could do this. Is the answer 40 acres? Is the answer 20 acres? Is the answer 30 acres? Is the answer 10 acres? Well, the answer to this one is B as in boy, 20 acres. So how do we come up with 20 acres? We're going to take this nice and slow. You can do this. First and foremost, I want you to understand that any section is how many acres? 640 acres. You got to know this, that one section is 640 acres. That's a lot of acreage. 640 acres in one section. Put that in your head. One section, 640 acres. Now, based on that, we're going to figure this one out. Nice and slow. We're going straight to the explanation, nice and slow. In order to calculate the acreage in this question, you must complete the following steps. Step 1, section 5. We know it's 640 acres. Remember that. So section 5, 640 acres. Step 2, well, we've got to find the east 1/2, which means you must divide the 640 into 2, or by 2. That gives us 320. And then it's asking, well, of that section, I want you to give me the south corner, but just a quarter of it. So what's a quarter of 320? And that's the next step. 320 divided by 4. And that gives you the 80. And the last and final step, step 4. Of that section, we just calculated, I want you to give me just the southwest 1/4. So we're going to divide it again by 4 because 1/4 is just a fourth. So of that 80, we're going to divide it by 4. And 80 divided by 4 is what? Yeah, 20. You got it? But it all started with what? 640, with that one section. If they give you the one section, you know it's 640 acres, and you work your way down from there. Great. let me give you a reminder. If you get something that's so complicated like this question here on your state exam, you might want to consider bypassing it, going back to it after you're done. If it takes too much time on you and it starts to confuse you and gets you a little flustered, you might want to move on. Skip it, move on, and get back to it if you have time. Don't spend too much time on questions like this if they're too difficult for you. Let's go to the next question. All right, now the next question, the grand finale, the big enchilada. Let's finish off strong. Here's the question. Jackie is a tenant who pays a portion of the property taxes in addition to her base rent. This kind of lease is known as so she's paying her base rent and she's paying some of the taxes. Interesting. So right off the bat, we know it's not a gross lease. Remember that? Because a gross lease, she just pays her rent and that's it. No other expenses. So we can remove that right out of the way. It's not a gross lease. So back to the question. Jackie is a tenant who pays a portion of the property taxes in addition to her base rent. This kind of lease is known as a gross lease, B, single net lease, C, triple net lease, or D, double net lease. And the answer to this one is B, single net lease. What does that mean? Well, let's go straight to the explanation. This is one type of net lease wherein besides the basic rent, a tenant will shoulder other building expenses. Single net lease. Listen, there you have it. 25 questions. So there you have it, 25 questions administered by Pearson Vue. Explained by who? Yeah, by your one and only Robert Rico. Hope you enjoyed it. Hey, listen, don't forget, we also have a state exam prep package that's an excellent product for you. And we have a video crash course that we just created. It's amazing. It's me, myself, providing you with all the education you need to pass that real estate exam when? Yeah, the very first time. Don't miss it, it's right there, along with our mobile app. You can't miss both items. Good luck to you, wishing you all the best. I'm rooting for you.